Hey guys, it's your buddy Moo here, Moo Juice Magic, bringing you some updates on a lot of drama all the time and whatever else. Look guys, one of my most viewed videos has to do with one Johnny Somali. I'm not proud of the fact that it has to do with Johnny Somali. I'm very happy and thankful that you guys were watching and interacting. Lots of comments, lots of interactions. I really appreciate that. If you don't know who Johnny Somali is, a short breakdown is he's a traveling douchebag. Just getting vinegary crap all over the place as he squeezes himself around other countries, much like personality bukkake. And his personality is like rancid tuna fish juice covered in, I don't know, botulism or whatever disgusting thing you can think of. The guy basically is a walking piece of human feces. He calls himself Johnny Somali, even though he's an American, which I am chagrined to confess and admit that he is in fact an American, guys. Don't let the last name of his made-up name fool you. It comes from the fact that his dad is Somalian and he pretended to be, Johnny Somali, pretended to be a child Somali soldier, even though he was a child in America and lived a privileged life. Anyway, Johnny Somali decides he's going to go to South Korea and insult the entire country. He did this in Japan too. But in Korea, he took it a couple steps further. Now, folks, in my comments on the last video, I did get the suggestion from one SEBAS 712 guy. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize. So I suggest watching the videos of the reckless things he did in Korea first. He disrespected Korea's painful history and insulted many Koreans, which sparked a lot of anger. He still can't leave Korea because countless Korean men are looking for him. Now, we're going to get into that. But the reason I love your suggestion, and I considered doing that, I don't want to give what this guy did any light of day. I don't want his videos to be shown on my channel unless it's him getting his comeuppance, his ass kicked. Because I don't think this guy should have any more reason to do this stuff. The reason he's able to travel and make these videos and continue to spew his stupidity on the rest of the world is because he gets views and he gets people watching what he does, and that makes him money. I'm sure there's more money from mom and dad or something. I don't actually know how his parents are. Maybe they're great people. I'm not sure. I can't speak to that. And maybe they don't have money. Maybe he's come across it some legitimate way, and this is just how he chooses to squander it by being a giant piece of crap. What I will show, though, is a video of Johnny Somali getting socked in the face. Now, YouTube, before you go to censor this, it doesn't actually show him get hit. But we do get to see him hit the ground, which is totally okay with your guidelines, YouTube. So get off my junk. Anyhow, folks, this comes from X as usual.
찍지 말라고. 에이. 찍지 말라고. 야, 소말리. 어디가?
어디가?
어?
어디가?
어디가?
Don't touch my shoe.
어디가?
Don't touch me, nigga.
어?
Huh?
소말리 어디가?
Yes, sir.
어디 가냐고.
You guys following the crazy? Listen to you.
어디가?
어디가? What you mean? 어디가?
어디가?
What is 어디가? Oh. Yo, yo, what is what?
찍지 말라고.
Okay, look. That warms my heart. Now, again, it didn't show the violence, guys. Sorry, I can't. I've already had videos get age restricted over nothing on YouTube, even after heavy editing. So I have to show the one that doesn't show him get hit. I don't know if there's another angle for that shows it. What that says on X or Twitter, Elon, it says Johnny Somali's punched in the face and knocked out cold by a former Korean UDT, which is, for those who don't know, Underwater Demolition Team or Navy SEAL. For those of you who don't think other countries have Navy SEALs, especially Korea, you are incorrect. Our UDT, our Navy SEALs, went and trained a lot of foreign people. There are other countries that have American-style trained UDT or Navy SEALs. Korean, the good Korea, South Korea, being one of them. Why do I say the good Korea? Because South Korea is the good Korea. Minus Gangnam Style, guys. You could have done us a little better on that one, okay? I'm still a little bitter about Psy, but that doesn't mean that we should just enact the Johnny Somali bomb. You guys didn't deserve this, and I apologize for this idiot. Even though I don't really believe in doing that as an American, I'm an individual, but at the same time, I would eventually like to travel to South Korea. I love the idea of traveling to South Korea. I don't like the idea of traveling in general, but as a kid, I studied Taekwondo and stuff, and I've been around a lot of Koreans growing up. I have relatives that are Korean. Great people, great culture. Johnny Somali, folks, this one dude that hit him isn't the only guy looking for Johnny Somali. Johnny Somali doesn't exactly have a price on his head, but he does have a price on his head. The price is clout on the internet. Now, folks, I would ask you, I know the laws in Korea are slightly different than America, and I don't know exactly what they are. I would ask you, though, to let the legal system deal with the guy instead of taking out vigilante style. I understand that's what you would want to do, and I'm not going to fault you for it. If you're going to slap him around a little bit, then that's your prerogative. I can't suggest doing that. I wouldn't suggest someone do that to a Korean. Never mind. You know what? You do you. Treat it like he's in America. In America, you act like that. We have a saying here, FAFO. Fuck around and find out. I have no problem with this, guys. I don't condone violence against anyone, but if it's your prerogative, and that's what you feel like you got to do, as the song goes, who am I to tell you what to do? I would ask that you don't kill him. That's just bad all the way around. It's not legal in any country, as far as I know. Please don't do that. I would ask just don't beat him up too much. Let the legal system handle it. Why do I say let the legal system handle it? Well, I get this from Reddit today. Updates on Johnny Somali. I'm sure everyone in the sub knows who this guy is, but are just unaware of the latest updates. Here's the latest update. He's currently being charged for obstruction of business. Apologies, it's not justice, it's business. The guy corrected himself. Obstruction of business, which is usually a fine plus a restraining order. The reason why he's not allowed to leave is because he's currently being investigated for drug charges, 1 count of assault charge, and several sexual harassment charges. We don't know how much evidence or how many victims came forward, but because of this investigation, he is barred from leaving Korea in the meantime. Now, the justice system is being involved over there, folks. For those of you who think it's not, the law. Johnny Somali is about to meet Johnny Law. He has been arrested. I don't know if he's still being detained or being incarcerated there. Let me know if you guys know. It says there, it goes on to say there are still a lot of Korean streamers looking for his whereabouts to boost their platform, plus anger towards his actions to the women's statue. Now, guys, that's a big deal, okay? The comfort women's statue is a big deal. I won't go into all of it in this video. I don't want to go into the history of it until I know exactly what I'm talking about. I have an idea of what that stands for, but I would rather make a video talking about how in-depth the topic is with the comfort statues. I know it has to do with comfort women in Korea, which that could be a whole video in itself, and that's why I don't want to talk about it too much right now, as I don't have enough information to give it a good explanation in a way that's respectful, especially in this situation. Normally, I might just graze over a topic like this, but basically, from what I see in a video of Johnny Somali, the douchebag decided to sit next to the comfort woman statue, kiss it on the cheek, take a picture of it, and share it around to people. Folks were not happy. If you heard the term comfort women, you can kind of put together what that means. That's one of the other reasons I don't need to talk about it yet, because we're still talking about this douche canoe. What people don't know is that there are Korean mafia members who are searching for him as well. What they plan to do is unknown. Guys, I can tell you something about Korean mafia members. I can tell you what they're planning on doing to him. It won't be pretty. It won't just be kicking his ass on stream for clout. It won't just be trying to get a slap in the face for justice. It'll be violent, and it will be permanent. But I doubt it's like what the Japanese streamers did, which is just make him apologize. You're famous to the point where when you first entered, no one in Korea really cared. As of now, you have your own Korean Cafe wiki page detailing almost every incident you've been involved in Korea. Now, this I did not see. If this is in English, I'll open it up. Actually, I'm going to look at it first to make sure it's something I can look up. It is 100% in Korean, guys. I apologize. but I cannot read Korean, and I am too tired this morning to try to translate anything. But it does have a lot of stuff. What I'll do is I will link this to in the comments or in the description is what I'll do, because I want you guys to be able to go and check this out. And let's see, copy that. Alrighty. So Korean Cafe is basically Wikipedia. They're part of Wikipedia about Korea, and I can tell just looking at it, it's just listing his many sins. There's talk amongst Korean government officials who want to make an example of him. Most are parliament members who are up for re-election, want to boost their approval rate. Nothing is more dangerous to your freedom than, and this is in every country, than a politician who has something to prove. Dude, I know. I once sat in jail for a month for something I didn't do because we had a new district attorney, and they wanted to prove they weren't like the old district attorney who was not hard on crime. Yeah, I'm still a little bitter about that. Most are using him in their re-election propaganda by just adding more fuel to the fire. There's popular Korean political channels making videos now to boost their viewership. There is currently a live petition to make him be arrested. He's also being prosecuted. Yes, prosecuted because they have sufficient evidence for making illegal pornography. Specifically deepfakes. This guy is when we say someone's a huge piece of shit, this guy is a giant piece of crap. He is human feces. He was born of his mother's anus. He was not a vaginal birth. He was an anal birth. He flopped into this world and splashed right into the toilet. That's what this guy did upon his birth. The angels didn't sing and the toilet did not flush. There was no bell to ring him into the sewage system. He just brought it up with him. There's a note here in this Reddit to Johnny Somali, if he does end up reading this. This is not any country. This is Korea. I'm not the proudest in terms of the laws this country has or where moral standards have been in the courtroom. But if there's one thing I'm sure of, when given the opportunity, they will make an example of someone that has united a country out of anger. Why we Koreans are angry. We quite frankly don't care about the incidents you did at the convenience store, or you slapping that phone, or what you did with the president's picture. Quite frankly, the president has enough critics amongst the general public. We can relate, Korea, South Korea, and America. We have a lot more in common than we think we do sometimes, folks. Anyway, I lost my page. What we do care is you showed the Japanese rising sun flag in your actions toward the Comfort Women statue. What you did was poke at a painful past in our history for your own amusement. Yeah. For those who don't know, the Japanese and the Koreans don't have the greatest history in the past. Now, my suggestion would have been for you to apologize, but seeing your latest live stream, which I don't watch his live stream, guys. I try not to give this guy anything. I would highly suggest you don't give him anything at all. Every view to this guy is money in his pocket. Just keep that in mind. But seeing your latest live stream, you doubled down on your position by portraying yourself as a victim instead of admitting what you did was wrong with sincerity. You have already lost your opportunity to apologize. Oh, and the U.S. Embassy talk. They won't help you, and you aren't really allowed to do anything. They'll make sure you receive your rights and counsel, but that's about it. The crimes you committed here while in Korea are here to stay. Korea isn't like Japan, where they just ban you. No, the country will make sure you pay for your crimes, either by jail sentence or have fines, and then deport you. You better hope you don't get a jail sentence, because news travels fast about what people did inside the jail cells. So you guys in America are so much alike. This is why we fought together instead of against each other in the Korean War. South Korea, the good Korea, guys. Here's some tea to you. Now, that's a good point. Johnny Somali, if you end up in jail, you are... I would say don't drop the soap, but I don't think it's going to matter. So anyway, now this the embassy thing. So yes and no, guys. Unfortunately, being that there is credible threat to his life and endangerment, and he could be facing more endangerment by being hurt in jail. Just so you guys know, the U.S. consulate, the embassy, can take him in and shelter him, and they will, because we do take care of our own, even if it is disgusting pieces of crap like Johnny Somali. I apologize, but that's just how it is. That's why we have embassies. The same would be said of, you know, a Korean in America. That's absolutely not true. We wouldn't do that. We would allow them to continue crime here, and we would just ignore it because that's what America does, unfortunately. Luckily, we don't have that problem with South Koreans. For some reason, South Koreans don't come here and cause a problem. Gangnam Style. I know it's not the same, but I'm bringing it up because it's in my head again. No, it's not the same to compare Kai or whatever his name is to this douchebag. If he's a national treasure to you guys, I'm sorry. That song plays on the radio still, and it's brain cancer inducing. Not as bad as Johnny Somali, though, who is AIDS inducing everywhere he goes. The guy looks like he probably has AIDS. He looks like Dave Chappelle's crackhead character from the Chappelle Show. I didn't steal your car, Rhonda. Hey, Joe Rogan, you got any more of those testicles? That's what he looks like. You haven't seen it, look it up. He looks just like him. The man continues to write here. I guess my current suggestion is to get a good lawyer if you can get one. No high-profile lawyer will take it in because of public backlash. No other lawyers will take it because the low percentage chance of winning the case, since foreigners versus national prosecution always sides with the national. Public counsel will most likely suggest you show repentance to receive lighter sentence and or smaller fines. As one crime film famously said, the United States missed you, Japan gave you away, Israel lost you, we're gonna fry you. Okay, so there is an update here. Actually, there's multiple updates on this Reddit. He's been slapped with a disturbance of peace charge. According to the law, if Korean prosecution were to go to the full extent, he could be seeing up to 10 years in prison. Okay, at that point, he's not going to make it out of prison if he's there for 10 years. If he's there for 10 days, I don't see this whelp making it anywhere. Unless people decided to keep him alive for comfort, which would be just the most ironic thing, wouldn't it? I get the feeling we're going to start seeing pictures of Johnny Somali sitting on a bench like this, and Korean dudes just like a photo booth putting their arm around him and pecking him on the cheek and sending it out to people on social media. I'm not saying you should do it, but I understand. I mean, that might not fit the crime, guys. That might not fit the crime. Anyway, also, here's the big fight everyone's talking about, and he shows the link to the fight with Johnny Somali versus another racist versus Korean streamers. Also, the deep fake charges were apparently him trying to prove he had a Korean girlfriend or something, some kind of fling when it was happening. So he's trying to pretend that he's dating a Korean girl because he doesn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. He was using AI to portray that, hence the deep fake charge. It's not sexual deep fake charge that Korea has been seeing lately in the news, but it's still a deep fake. So he has multiple deep fakes. Deep fakes are an issue, and this guy seems to really enjoy them. Now, also, there is a story that a UDT, a group of former UDT, or Korean Special Operation Force, underwater demolition team members are looking for him. He claims he's in a U.S. Army base. He isn't. There are 3 U.S. military bases in Korea. 2 of them are too far out of Seoul, and all of them are off limits to civilians, let alone a nuisance to enter. Yes and no. The U.S. military, if the guy's a U.S. citizen, he can prove he's a U.S. citizen in danger, he can find shelter in a U.S. military base, guys. The U.S. military is there to keep the peace, but also to protect our own. So as much as they might not appreciate it, and it will be up to the commander of that base whether or not they take him in, and if the commander of the base is on good terms and wants to, do well with the Korean people, he's not going to give Johnny Somali up to a mob of angry civilians. He would turn him over to the authorities if the authorities show reason. They would contact the consulate or, the embassy, and the embassy would decide what to do from there, which in this case, they would take him in and shelter him until his trial date. They might incarcerate him at the embassy for you, but they're not going to turn him over if his life is at risk, which it's very clear his life is probably over if he doesn't get out of South Korea. Let's just be real here. For people saying he's already fled the country, no, he didn't. There's no travel record indicating he left the country. He's still in Korea. He's not even allowed to leave Korea right now because he's going to trial or because the charges brought up against him. Currently, so-called bounty hunters are trying to locate his whereabouts. Meanwhile, the Korean authorities are still probing into his deepfake charge as they have a key witness, plus sufficient evidence to build a case against him. Confirmed charges of AI deepfake charge, plus obstruction of business, plus disturbing the peace, drug, plus assault, plus sexual. This guy is just a hat of ass, or an ass hat. An ass hat, guys, is, you know, the piece of film you put around the seat of the toilet? Now, I don't know if you have sitting toilets in South Korea. I know that in Japan they have toilets on the floor. In America, we have toilets that you actually sit upon. And to keep your ass from getting the Johnny Somali disease, we put this piece of material, paper, over it that's flushable. And you put your skin against that so it doesn't touch all the dirtiness of the toilet seat. Well, the thing that collects all that is Johnny Somali. That's why he's so disease-ridden and disgusting. Update 11.4. So another update. As of yesterday, Korean Parliament reviewed the Johnny Somali streams, including the Comfort Woman one. One member described it as devastating, another as damaging to the reputation of Korea. Most Parliament members agreed with the sentiment that his streams have severely damaged Korea's reputation. A member said that a swift action needs to be taken to discourage other potential tourists from ever doing similar actions. When you piss off another country to such a volume that their parliament is getting involved to decide if your tiny ass, insignificant piece of crap streamer needs to has somehow tarnished the reputation of an entire country. Which, by the way, South Korea, we don't view you that way in America. Overall, we do not view what he did as tarnishing your reputation. I understand you're very proud. The Korean people are very proud people for a reason. They're very strong people. And they have good reason to be upset about this, but your reputation is intact with us. So just rest assured to that. We still look to you guys as exactly who you are. Strong folks and allies to America. And that goes a long way with us. I mean, look how much we do for Israel. And they're way tinier than you guys when it comes to numbers. So as long as you're our ally, we got your back, is what I'm saying here. Even against one of our own. Now, we still have to protect him to a degree. At least I don't, but, you know, the people in charge do. Just because we couldn't just have... If we had every douchey American treated by whatever country he's in that way, there'd just be war all the time. We don't want that. Anyway, additionally, more Korean YouTube streamers as well are even more netizens have teamed up this morning to hunt Johnny. There was a conference today that was broadcasted among the original streamers who were involved in the scuffle, apologizing for their violent act because this isn't the side of Korea they want to show the international world. See, look, guys, and I understand that you'd want to come out and say that and bring forward to light that, hey, Korea's not like this. In this case, man, it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. So just keep that in mind, folks. To the streamers out there, I'm not saying you were bad in this. I mean, I'm an American, and I made the video showing your act in a positive light while still saying I don't think it was the best decision, just because I have to say that. But in reality, you know, I probably lean more to the side of I understand than it's not a great idea. I lean more to the understanding part of it. I would probably do the same thing. I'm kind of a rough and tumble guy. I know I don't look like it. I know on the last comment, someone made a comment that I don't look like I can fight either. That's a poor thing to think about from me. To glean from looking at me and thinking I can't fight is silly. One of the reasons I support what happened and I support the South Korean streamers in this is because as someone who has fought a lot and always come out on top for reasons, I understand. The good guys win, Johnny. You're not the good guy in this one. The South Korean guys are. I would just suggest, though, guys, like, because I understand the passion to this. I get in fights over the American flag getting stepped on, so I totally understand. I've been in fist fights for it. And for those of you who don't like that, you kiss my ass. I don't give a shit. My family fought and bled over that flag, and I will gladly wrap you up in it and put you in the ground with it if you disrespect it in front of me. There are certain rights I'll let you have. And this is why I support what's going on with the South Koreans. That said, folks, I would suggest for your own sake and your own conscience, like these guys already said, hey, we probably shouldn't have done this. This gave us a bad light, which I don't think it did, but I understand why you'd feel that way. It's weird when you beat someone up, man, especially someone such a whelp, such a tiny, repugnant, small, garbage, weak individual as Johnny Somali. I mean, even his personality's weak. That's why his ego is so big, to make up and compensate for how tiny he is, for just how tiny this guy really is. I mean, he's a speck, and now he's been made into this much bigger thing. He did need to be put in his place. I 100% agree. As to the Korean Mafia and stuff, I'm not going to even bother telling you guys what to do. You're the Korean Mafia. You're just going to do you. But to the citizens and the streamers out there, I would reach out and say, hey, before you do something that you regret as an individual and feel guilty about, even though it's pretty justified, going out there and slapping someone around a little bit because they did this is one thing. Accidentally, potentially killing someone, if you didn't mean, like, especially if there wasn't a really, like, they weren't harming you directly, physically, that can come back to bite you in your soul. And I want to make sure you guys don't accidentally go through that. I've seen fights as a bouncer where people fell on their head. They got hit, and they fell, and they hit their head, and they are no longer around, and someone who just got drunk and took a swing at somebody ended up in prison for the rest of their life. So I would suggest, think before, you do that. I'm not going to say toss an egg at him, but if you do, just tell him it's from your buddy Moo Juice. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think some more in the comments below. I do really appreciate the involvement. The South Korean audience in my stream for that video was just the coolest folks. In fact, I think the only people that disliked the video were people from America, which is amazing. Folks, there is some English translation issues, I'm sure. I apologize for that. I'm sure I have subtitles on. I don't control those. Anyway, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys. Let me know your updates on this. If there's anything else you'd like to, get into. Eventually, I would like to do a video on why those comfort statues are important, but I want to approach it in a light that is 100% sincere, because I do have a bit of an understanding on why they're there. And like I said, I'm not saying you should beat them up, but I understand. Anyway, folks, in America, if you don't get what I'm saying here, look it up. It's that simple. South Korea has been an ally to us. We do not need to be dumping on them with this douche canoe, Johnny Somali. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if Johnny Somali ends up in prison. If he does, well, it's going to be terrible for you, but I'm not sure which is going to be worse, that or if the Mafia gets you first. Because the Mafia is going to get you in prison too, bro. If you're not already at the embassy, you probably should have gone there a long time ago. Anyway, folks, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't liked the video, if you like the video, like it. If you don't, whatever, don't. But do subscribe, because I like to have these comments. Please keep the comments in the civil. I know have reason to be passionate. Please keep them civil, just so I don't have to go through and kind of delete things. I like people to have their ability to say whatever they want, and, within reason, because I know YouTube is YouTube. But I'm your buddy Moo Juice Magic. I'm going to go play Black Ops 6 and scream at the top of my lungs about how bad the servers are. I'll catch you guys later. Moo Juice out.